First scene in the Star Wars The Old Republic Deceived trailer, the first ever trailer for the MMORPG game, we saw Darth Malgus, and I have to say he is possibly the second most badass Sith in history, behind Darth Revan. Like, oh my god, just see, like, initially I thought, hey, is that Malik's descendant or something? Like, I thought Malik's descendant was that. And, like, I know it took place 300 years after Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, but I was thinking, is this Malik, is Malgus like a descendant of Malik? And it turns out that's not the case, he just happens to look like him. And I thought, the is the ultimate form of badassery. Like, everything, the way he talked, the way he acted, the way he moved, the way he would scream in pure anger, everything about him was just so awesome. Like, just seeing him on the computer was just awesome, and I wanted to play as a Sith warrior so bad when I saw this. Like, I wanted to be just as badass as him, and in my opinion I did make a badass character, but that's for another day, maybe not. But Malgus was the ultimate thing was, not only was he ultimate badass, he was also, has a personality. Not just plain, I am evil, I want power. I mean, like, he would later try and do that, but that's beside the point. Like, he even had a love interest. He fell in love with a woman he took in as a slave, but treated her as a wife. And they had romantic chemistry together, and it ended in tragedy because he said he fell in love with her, and that was a problem since he felt like love would ultimately be his downfall, and in death she became his greatest strength. And I was like, that's all tragic. Why can't we have more Sith like this? More tragic Sith to show that they weren't falling to the dark side just because they did it out of pure spite, like that's Palpatine, but more of a tragic way, like how Anakin fell, like he's possibly, and Count Dooku fell. Well, at least in the expanded universe, how Count Dooku fell, because they just want to make him straight up evil in the Disney universe. But that's beside the point. I already talked about Count Dooku and Anakin. Like, this Sith was like the third most sympathetic Sith you could sympathize with. Like, Darth Revan, like, he wasn't sympathetic in a way because he knew what he was doing, and all the more as part of his redemption. But ultimately, like, Malgus was just this pure awesome character, a sympathetic character, a tragic character. He even had his own book talking about him, and it showed his background, his character, and how awesome he was, and his eventual falling in love with his wife, and eventual death of her, showing all the more tragic. And we actually sympathize with this character because you want him to have a life, and you want him to succeed in life. Though, of course, you also technically mean you want the Sith to succeed, but that's beside the point. And he goes ahead later on in the Old Republic MMO, like, say, you know what? I can do better than the Sith Emperor. I'm going to start my own empire. And he tries to do that. You stop him. Though I honestly would have said I would have loved to join him. Like, he seems to know what he wants to do. Like, he's badass. Like, he burned the temple to the ground. He went ahead, led a bunch of Sith, and they burned the temple to the ground. How can you not get results like that? Like, he's possibly the only Sith besides Darth Vader and Palpatine to burn the Jedi Temple to the ground. And God, that guy was awesome. And especially in the later trailers when we saw him, like before his masking, like it was kind of weird to see him without his mask. It just felt weird to me, especially how some of the animation was. Like, it looked a little weird to me, so I had mixed feelings on that. But he still was badass, like cutting lightsabers in half, leading armies, being the unstoppable Sith, looking this awesome. And even when even when he almost did get killed, he went and said, "I'm gonna scream in total rage," and being all resistant to it, like he's staring death in the face and is just yelling at it. Like, oh my god, this guy's badass. Like, he's gonna scream at death's face and say, "I'm not going down without a fight," pretty much. Everything about that guy was just awesome. I would have loved to see more of his character explored in the MMO, but they just went ahead and let him go in and establish his own empire and did a couple of scenes. And I'm glad they made a book about him. But I'd love to see more. Like if Disney ever was to go back to the Old Republic era, I would be all for it. I hope Disney one day returns to the Old Republic era. Like, I want Reverend to be canon. I want the old Sith Empire to be canon. Like, I want that to happen, but I'll just take Legends over the Disney canon, since Disney likes to Disneyfy it into good versus evil instead of this many shades of gray. But that's for another video. Well, everyone, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.